Coming up.
John, you ready?
There we are. Go ahead.
Okay. You don't move fast and break things if the thing you're going to break has got you inside it.
The damning findings of a disaster that shouldn't have happened.
It doesn't give you license to try and bend the laws of physics.
And the egomaniac responsible.
I've broken some rules to make this. Carbon fiber and titanium. There's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
Hello, I'm Matt, and we're looking at who is to blame for the preventable disaster for the Titan submersible. I think the world was on edge around that one. We all heard the news that it was basically not lost, but in trouble, and there was a rescue operation, and then it came out that, yeah, all hope was lost. Let's have a look at this one from 60 Minutes.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
There's a rule you don't do that, so I did it.
If Stockton Rush was alive today, chances are he'd currently be calling a prison cell home. As the founder and chief spruiker of underwater exploration company OceanGate, Rush convinced wealthy people that, for very large sums of money, he could take them to the wreck of the Titanic.
You know what? Just go to Las Vegas at the Luxor and just look at the exhibit there. Why would anyone put themselves in a sub like that to go down? I think it's hubris, you know, got the millions. Once in a lifetime, we can say we've done it, but what a risk to take with your lives.
What he didn't tell them was that his submersible, Titan, was poorly designed and
controlled by a PlayStation controller, I think.
Badly maintained. In other words, a catastrophe waiting to happen. The inevitable occurred in June 2023, when the tiny craft imploded as it descended to the famous shipwreck.
It would have been 2 years. It feels like a lifetime ago.
Rush and 4 paying passengers died instantly. Now, the US Coast Guard has released damning findings about the cause of the disaster, confirming it was entirely preventable. It should have been the adventure of a lifetime, diving nearly 4,000 metres beneath the surface of the North Atlantic Ocean to see the wonders of the Titanic wreck.
We will drift down. We will hit the bottom. We'll have communications.
But the 4 passengers on board the Titan, along with OceanGate boss and pilot Stockton Rush, never made it. The submersible blown to pieces on the sea floor. Now, the answers family members and the world have been waiting for.
I mean, every time I see a shipwreck under the ocean, like on the ocean floor or something, I don't know, it just gives me shivers, real shivers.
In a preventable disaster, that's how the newly released U.S. Coast Guard report is framing the loss of the Titan submersible.
Also citing glaring disparities between safety protocols and actual practices.
Yeah, I mean, when he says, yeah, we shouldn't be designing the sub this way, but we're going to do it anyway. Tick, that's a red flag. We're going to control it using a game controller. Tick, that's a red flag.
In a 335-page report, the US Coast Guard is scathing of OceanGate's practices and culture, finding the company used intimidation tactics to dodge scrutiny and operated completely outside of established deep-sea protocols. The vessel wasn't registered, certified, or classed. The primary cause of the tragedy: failure to follow engineering protocols for safety, testing, and maintenance of the Titan. And there
wasn't staff as well treated badly. The ones who tried to come out and say, look, this is all a mitigated disaster and it's going to end it badly, weren't they also treated quite badly?
were plenty of warnings.
Every sub they built, test or operational, displayed the same pattern, and they just ignored it. The sub was screaming at them, but nobody was listening.
Submersible expert and deep-sea diving veteran Rob McCullum consulted for OceanGate from 2009 until 2016, when he left because of safety concerns. Concerns CEO Stockton Rush refused to acknowledge.
You know, I've broken some rules to make this. Carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
The use of carbon fibre to build the hull was highly controversial in the industry. Rob was one of dozens to warn Stockton Rush the composite material wouldn't withstand extreme deep-sea pressure.
I appreciate entrepreneurs. I'd like to see innovation, technical innovation, but that doesn't give you license to sort of overlook sound engineering practice, and it doesn't give you license to try and bend the laws of physics.
Yeah, especially when it's other people's lives put at risk. Like, I bet you didn't sit there with the paying customers to say, yeah, we did this. It's not, none of it is advisable. You're taking a massive risk coming down here. Also, we had engineers who worked with us who have raised massive red flags around what we're doing. Still want to go down? I bet you didn't say any of that.
Even when banging was heard during test dives, which was the sound of the hull cracking, OceanGate failed to properly investigate or repair.
Jesus Christ. I mean, if I was in a sub and I heard that, I'd be shitting bricks.
The damage. Ultimately, the Coast Guard concluded weakening of that carbon fibre hull caused the catastrophic implosion. As Titanic expert and Hollywood director James Cameron told 60 Minutes last year, in an industry where safety is everything, Stockton Rush was a reckless outlier.
He was always trying to get me to sort of jump in because I'm obviously well known in the Titanic community. And, you know, I didn't want to have any part of a sub that had those design parameters.
He seemed to take a real pride in his unconventional approach, in breaking the rules.
Exactly, and I think this is a place where you've got to really know your stuff before you can step outside the box.
The ocean doesn't care about hubris or ego. Its nature is unrelenting, and unless you respect it completely, you're going to get absolutely screwed over by it.
You don't move fast and break things, as they say in Silicon Valley, if the thing you're going to break has got you inside it, along with other innocent people who believe your line of BS.
But the problems at OceanGate went far deeper than the engineering of the sub. The Coast Guard investigation uncovered a harmful workplace culture led by Rush, who would let nothing and no one stand in the way of taking paying passengers to the Titanic.
I heard that some employees were not happy with the entire operation.
Employees who voiced issues with equipment or processes were chastised or sacked.
If someone raised a safety concern, they were not only not listened to, they were silenced. That is such a toxic culture when it comes to safety. And it's the reverse of everything else I know in the maritime industry.
The Coast Guard laid blame on the charismatic, egotistical CEO for exhibiting negligence that contributed not only to his own death, but 4 others as well. Had Stockton Rush survived, the matter would have been referred to the Department of Justice to consider criminal charges.
Always too late. Always too late.
Christine Darwood lost both her husband, Shahzada, and her 19-year-old son, Suleiman, in the Titan disaster. She told us no report can alter the heartbreaking outcome nor fill the immeasurable void left by 2 cherished members of our family. We hope this tragedy serves as a turning point and one that drives meaningful reform, rigorous safety standards, and effective oversight within the submersible industry. You can read Christine's full statement on our website.
Hello, I'm Amelia.
Yeah, I mean, it was a disaster waiting to happen, and unfortunately, and I say this, I mean, nobody deserves to go out like that, but it's just a shame it didn't happen during a test run. Like, so nobody else was taken, no innocence was taken. But these things are always learnt at, you know, it's like aviation disasters, where a disaster shakes up the industry and makes the industry better because improvements are made, more oversights made, more rules and regulations are coming into play. So another OceanGate doesn't happen. I'm not saying it won't, but it'll make it harder for another OceanGate to happen. So maybe the deaths are not in vain in that respect. But if you're in a sub doing a test run and you can hear banging as it's creaking, why the hell would you get back in it? Beyond belief. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. You take care. Cheers.